Welcome to week one of LCAT Radio, the place for your local high school information. My name is Daniel Magiera. I would like to thank Adler Johnston for joining me today as my co-host. I believe, let's get going. The Bio MCAS is on June 7th and 8th for the freshmen, so keep a lookout on that. Talk to your teachers to find out where you're going to go over for those. I hope all the sophomores did well on their English and math MCASs that finished today for the math ones. I know that I did pretty well on mine, so I was really happy with that. Hope you guys all did well. There's a couple other things. Please send your thoughts and prayers out to the families of the car accident victims, Katerina Boskovic and Shia Hamill from Longmeadow over the weekend. It's tragedy. You hate to hear about those. And please send your thoughts and prayers to the families of the shooting victims over in Buffalo over the weekend. To get going for everything else, Adler, how's your day going?
Pretty good. How are you been today, Dan?
It's been going. School. There's just nothing special going on. There's school's kind of winding down.
It's coming to an end.
Seniors are getting ready to leave.
Yep.
You know, I know that in my AP physics class where I'm the only person that's not a senior. The seniors are ready to go. They are in full-blown senioritis, talking to the teacher, trying to get out of projects. Just trying to run through our projects as fast as possible. And I'm kind of like, slow down, wait, I need that A. But we're going with it. It's not terrible.
No, it's kind of weird watching everybody graduate, you know? Like, we're juniors, so these seniors that are graduating, they've been with us since day one, you know? And, you know, when you're like a wee freshman, you just see people graduating like,
that's not me.
I don't care about those people. Those people are tall. Those people are scary.
Yeah, big, tall seniors. And now all of a sudden we're taking a look at them and like, wow. These people were the people that brought me in when I became a freshman. These are the people that told me how to act and how to not act as a freshman. And now all of a sudden they're leaving and it's up to me now to do the same thing. It's like, wow.
Oh.
It's weird. Update on sports. The East Long Meadow baseball team, we are 8-7. They had a terrible week in the last week of April. They lost 4 of their 6 games in that week. 4 of their 7 games, actually, including 1 against Longmeadow, and then won 3 in a row to the start of the month, and then lost to Pope. They had a crushing loss against Pope. They were up 6-2 in the 6th, in top of the 6th, and then all of a sudden they just fell apart, and they got 4 runs to tie it. Pope got 4 runs to tie the game 6-6, and then had a walk-off victory, which was crushing for East Long Meadow. I had a lot of angry baseball players that day when they came back in. They were not a single one of them was ready to go. They were moping around. And I'm like, hey, how'd that baseball game go yesterday? They're like, shut up, walk away. That was a very bad game for them. They gave up. Let's see. They beat Central last Friday, which is pretty nice. We'd love to hear they win another game. So they're staying on track. They keep going. Then last night they got blown out by Minnetonka 13-4 to close out the regular season. You know, I get it. Terrible loss. Doesn't really matter. They still have, they still made the playoffs for the state and Western Mass teams. So they're ready to go. They just got to pray to God their seating's high enough where they can get somewhere with it.
Yep.
Other than that, the softball team, they have a 10-6 regular season record. They swept Longmeadow this season 2-0. The average margin of victory per game was 10 runs. So every game that they won by about 10 runs, a little over. That's just like crazy numbers. You don't hear that in any kind of team. Like that's like football numbers. That's like the 07 Patriots numbers. You don't hear that. That's just insane. They have a Sophie Sayers, who has been an amazing pitcher for them, or player in general. She has 11 starts at pitchers, and she's played in 71 innings when they really only had 77 innings in those 11 games. So she just had a crazy numbers during those times. She was pulled in the 5th in one game. She was pulled in the 4th, and I think the 6th in a couple other games. Yeah. So really in 3 games she's been pulled. But other than that, she's had just strikeout after strikeout, let up very few runs and a winning team. They beat Minichog last night to close out their regular season. Great end to a great season.
Yep.
Boys Lacrosse, they've had a struggling year. They're 3-8 on the season. They started off with a loss against Pope, and then that trend continued for a good chunk of their season. They won their second game against Belchertown, then lost 4 straight in April. They haven't won a couple. They lost Minichog, or they lost against Minichog last night, 6-14. Shane Becker, Nolan Moore, Jeff Condike, and Andrew Nolan getting a goal apiece. Luke Carando scoring 2 for him. That was it, though. Minichog just seemed to they had no stop for him.
Yeah.
They have 2 games left in their regular season, Westside Friday and Longmeadow next Tuesday.
Not bad.
Their first win was against Belchertown, which was a very close game. Then they decided to get blown out by them in their second go-around, which, again, not very good, but what are you going to do?
Happens to the best of us, yeah.
Yeah. The boys' tennis team is 12-2. They've been swept by Longmeadow in the season, but they haven't had any other losses on the year. Just they keep winning. They won 7 games, 5-0, and 3 wins at 4-1. They beat Westside 5-0 to close out the regular season with Dylan DiCino, Brian Shields, Ben Giroux, Luke Mazza, and Ryan Brunel all winning their matchups. The girls' tennis team, on the other hand, is having a much worse season. They went 4-8 on the year, 7 losses, 0-5, and their season has concluded.
It's too bad.
Yeah, I hate to hear about that one. Now, the boys lacrosse team, I've heard about some of it, but they have a talented team. They have a talented roster. Andrew Nolan's dedicated to lacrosse. He tries hard for it. I believe it's the only sport he plays, and he plays very well. He doesn't seem to, one player isn't going to make up for the entire team. So
yeah, and lacrosse is like super competitive. I remember I played it for like a couple of years in elementary school. I was pretty bad at it, but I remember even back then, people are going really, really hard at it. It's a very, very competitive sport. Yeah,
my cousins play the game, and you'll come back and you'll see them every once in a while. They'll just have like whack marks all up and down their arms and stuff like that. I guess, that's kind of the nature of the sport. It's like playing football. You're gonna go in, you're gonna come out with a bruise on your shoulder, but it's how tough can you be to keep getting through those hits. Now the girls lacrosse team, they're 3-9. I haven't heard too much about them. I don't know a ton of the players in that team. What are you gonna do? I'd love for someone to come on and talk to us more about it so we could learn more. But until then, we got season's winding down for them anyways.
Yep.
The volleyball team's been doing pretty good. They're at 10-7 on the season. They lost last night against Agawam 1-3 at home, which isn't the best in the world. But other than that, they've had a pretty good season. They've had mostly close games. Players such as Bowie Trin with 106 kills on the season and 91 digs, keeping East Longmeadow up, winning those close games in clutch. Another sport I don't know a ton about, and I want to get other guys on the team involved in coming on over here.
I'm sure they'd be more than happy to come and talk about it.
Definitely.
The experts.
And then for clubs, I believe that what goes along with all these clubs with all this school stuff winding down, all these teachers just kind of coming down, is that all the clubs are just kind of, coming down.
Yeah.
So
A lot of them having the last meetings. Model Congress, though.
Model Congress.
They're meeting today. We should be there, but we're not. It's okay. We've got things to do.
So we have a Model Congress. We have a meeting for an emergency session with Longmeadow next Monday. Talk to Mr. Phelan in the math hallway if you want to figure that out. It's a very fun thing. It's going to be very, I believe, informal, where you just kind of show up and talk it out and have fun with it. I remember last year we had a Model Congress event, and that was a blast.
Yeah. A lot of people get discouraged, too, because they think the rules always seem so scary. And I think that's what's good about the Longmeadow meeting, because it's not going to be as formal, so you're not going to have to be as worried about the rules. I mean, usually you'd have to care about them, but I really hate that a lot of people get scared off from Model Congress by the fact that they got all those structural things. Yeah,
you have to go through these structure things, and Mr. Phelan does a great job at breaking those down. He gives us a sheet, and it's a perfect cheat sheet of everything you need to know.
Yeah.
So what do you need to say to have this motion done? And then he kind of breaks down. If you don't know what a motion is, he can go full into detail about it.
Yeah.
And everyone else in the club with us is super, like, we're all ready to go. We're ready to move on and tell you the next thing, and help out however we can. We want to make sure it's a fun environment for everyone. And that's always a lot of fun to have. Last year at the event, I made because it was, very fun, but yet informal.
Yeah.
I had my bill, and it was about, I believe it was limiting hospital hours, the amount of hours that a doctor can work in a hospital.
Oh.
And it was a fun bill. It's just average, nothing special. I bring it up.
Unless you're a doctor who wants to work a lot of hours.
Fair point. So I bring it up, and I make a ton of amendments to this bill. I allow basically everything that someone suggests to pass because I just want to help out. I want to make sure it's an agreeable bill.
Yeah.
And I want to get it passed. And once it's all pretty good, I take the stand and I open myself up to questions without saying what any of these questions should be about. I just stood up. I'd like to open myself to questions. And that was it. And then they're all kind of looking at me like,
what do I do?
What do you mean?
What do I do and how do I do it?
Yeah. So then I had Aiden Cochran, who is a senior, stood up, raised his hand. Now. And sitting down, raised his hand. And he said, "What's your favorite color?" And I'm like, "Sorry? What's your favorite color?" Red, I guess. And he was just asking about that stuff. And I didn't realize that I had to be more specific in what I meant. It was just a fun thing that Aiden was trying to prove a point about. So it kind of goes to show how much, informal and fun it can really be, even as serious as it seems.
And a lot of people that were there too, because of COVID, we didn't actually get to experience like a real in-person model Congress.
Yeah.
Like I remember freshman year, we were lucky enough to go to the one at AIC and get that full boat experience, but not so much for all these new members, a lot of members last year. And I mean, that's the only in-person one I've been to other than what we had here. So even you and I are still a little like
newish experience, but new is a good way to put
maybe,
it.
Yeah.
We're not
weathered. We're not weathered.
We haven't, really. Enough. Yeah. It's still a great time though. I wish that we had more people. You definitely notice the number of people that come in at the start of the year versus the number that come in at the end of the year.
Well,
it drastically reduces.
They're afraid of the rules, but once you know the rules, it's like second nature. It's really not that bad. And sometimes it's a little tricky, but we always have those cheat sheets, and you can always figure it out. I think a lot of people are also afraid to get too political, and don't if anybody's got drawbacks about that, I would say don't worry about it because
that's what everyone's there for.
Well,
everyone's
yes
there
and
to get
no.
political.
But if that's what scares a lot of people away, if you like debating and like having like an actual conversation, open a discussion or a debate about something, you don't have to worry about being hated on for your beliefs because so many different people in that club with so many different beliefs, nobody really cares. As long as you're kind to people and you make points that you can actually support, then it's okay. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, so we have I'm really excited to see how the Model Congress stuff goes. It's just a great time to have. I'm really excited for the Longmeadow one. I don't know what it's going to be like. I don't know who's in the club for Longmeadow. I get it, they're down the road, but as my football coach says, the scumbags down the road. We don't keep in touch with them.
Shh, keep it nice.
So we have fun with that. But other than that, the athletics is calming down. Some teams have made the playoffs. I know baseball has. I know softball has. I'm unsure if they made the state as well as Western Mass, but I know that they have made the Western Mass playoffs. The boys tennis team has made the playoffs. The volleyball team has made the playoffs. And it's been the talk. A lot of the teams have been mediocre. We haven't had any first seeds, second seeds, third seeds. And that's just how it's been all year. Even on the wrestling team, we didn't have anyone get first seed.
Yeah.
The closest to the first seed we got was Gabe Savager, who got second seed. But other than that, no one's placed, very high up in their rankings. Which just, I guess that happens. There's always a better team out there. So with all these mediocre teams, it's weird to see or to try and guess what's going to happen because you don't know if this mediocre team out west is going to be like the worst team out east. Maybe it's going to be the best team out east, such as Taconic. It's weird to see.
Yeah. At the same time, though, I wouldn't get my hopes up. I mean, I have faith. Don't get me wrong. I got faith in my fellow Spartans and all, but if we're just a mediocre team right now, then maybe there's a small chance we make it somewhere, but I wouldn't
think it's a small chance.
I wouldn't bet on it.
I kind of agree. I think it's a mediocre chance.
Yeah.
Now, I know that the band kids have a show coming up next week, right?
I don't really appreciate the term band kids, but like...
Oh, come on. It's a band kid.
All right, fine. The band students, individuals, instrument-playing individuals, performing arts individuals.
I played piano.
Have an instrumental concert on the 25th, Wednesday, next week. It should be pretty interesting. We have some good selections. We got, concert band, jazz band, orchestra. I think, yeah, because it's just instrumental, so that should be the 3 ones.
That's exciting.
Yes.
How's the practice been going? Good?
It's been going pretty good. We ran through all the concert band stuff today. Jazz has been going pretty good. Although we meet in Spartan block, and this week's been kind of hectic with that, so we haven't met a lot. But I will say, those of us in jazz band tend to be we're pretty quick to come together with a piece that if it's going to happen, it'll happen soon enough, And we've been practicing these pieces for a while, so I'm pretty confident in our abilities for next week.
Now, how long have you been practicing the pieces? Like, are these the pieces that you've been working on since the start of the year, or are they kind of like, more recent stuff?
Yes and no, because our last concert was, not even a month ago, I don't think. Was it May something?
I believe so.
It's May right now. It's April something. So we didn't really have a whole lot of time because a lot of people don't realize it takes like months and months and months a lot of times for some of these pieces, not all of them. And sometimes we're playing them well for months, but we just got to keep playing them so they stay the same. So we have a couple pieces that we've been playing for a while, a couple new pieces, but like new within the last month and a half. Nothing
super old.
Nothing super new because we haven't had a lot of time between this concert and the last one. And we even got to start getting ready for graduation in a couple weeks because we got to perform there. So there's been not a lot of new music, new to you guys, not really new to us.
Yeah, well, that's exciting. At least you guys have stuff going on. I know the band for the football games it's always super exciting to have.
Yeah, I love doing pit bands. Next year, I thought about trying to be a drum major, but I love being a part of the band so much during those games. It's just so fun.
They're fun. You go out there as a football player, you walk out onto the field and you have the band going. That's always a nice thing, especially when it's a big touchdown.
Yeah, because we play Football Hero. I think just about every time, and I love doing that. As soon as you get a touchdown, we know, and they go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me just go for it. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's always a blast. All the athletics when you have something else accompanying it. So when you have a band going on next to it, it's always super exciting and brings some light to a moment.
There's so many people too from the school that aren't really all that connected to football. They just come just to watch the games. Like every time we have a Friday home game, people are always there. It's amazing because I think we take it for granted because
some old alumni
a lot of people just in other places don't do that. They they have a football game. That's cool.
Let's go watch a football game.
Yeah, here it's like people go. It's a thing. You make a whole night of it. You have fun. You do all kinds of stuff. You get loud. You get rowdy. You're a little too rude to the refs sometimes, but that's all right. We're working on it.
Yeah, we got to come down on the refs. I know that the athletic director, McGee, a couple weeks ago about a month ago now, actually sent an email out saying, hey, we got to chill out with what we're doing with the refs because they're not doing it. People are stopped being refs. And honestly, I wouldn't be a ref either.
No.
If someone told me, hey, you got a choice, be a coach or a ref, I would 100% choose a coach any day. Mm-hmm. Because being a ref, all it results in is someone's complaining, someone's yelling at you, someone has a problem with you. Versus if you're a coach, someone's always happy with you. You always have a player that respects you. You always have someone trying to help you out. So that's the difference that I see. Like that's why I would never be a ref. But I always do my best to treat them well whenever I'm at a match. So if I go to a wrestling meet or something, I walk out on the mat, I say hi to the ref, I ask him how his day's going. If I'm on kick return for football, I say hi to the ref, ask him how his day's going. And you can tell it's nice. They usually appreciate it. They usually like it. And I think that we need to see more of that in a lot of sports. Like even when I was a catcher freshman year on a summer league baseball team, I was talking to the umps and they had a blast talking to me. Just making casual conversation that usually they don't get out of a baseball game because people are usually too busy yelling at them for a call that they're just reporting what they saw. Mm.
Yeah, I know. It's always like, oh, the ref made a bad call. The ref did this. It's like, what if you were the ref?
Like, you think in that moment you could have made a better one?
Somebody's always going to complain about a call that goes against whatever they want to do. Because say they made a bad call, but it was in your favor. Are you going to complain about it?
Oh, no.
If you got integrity.
That has happened quite a few times.
Oh, it does happen.
Quite a few times to me.
Because it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, and especially in football.
I mean, I'll be honest, when people are out there throwing the football, running around, tackling each other, I don't really know what's going on. I just know that when we get brought on the other side, that we all like start clapping.
Yeah, that's about
so
it.
I can't imagine being a ref and having to like know exactly what's happening in every waking moment.
Yeah, you have
make a decision.
You have to watch the whole field, and if you miss one thing, all of a sudden you got people that are very mad at you.
Yeah.
So like I do my best whenever something happens to me, I alert a ref to it. I say, hey ref, watch out! This guy just did this to me. Blah blah blah, and then usually it doesn't get called afterward because usually it only happens once. But every once in a while, I've seen a ref that I had a guy in one of the games once push my helmet into the ground after the play, and usually that happens, and you just get up and you go back to your huddle because you know the ref didn't see it.
Yeah.
Finally, I saw a ref who saw it, stood up, came over, and then threw the ref down and gave him a 15-yard unsportsmanlike call. And it was great because you could see it immediately changed the game, that one call. There was no more dirty plays. There was no more anything because you knew the ref was watching.
Yeah, he meant business.
He wasn't just going to let you guys play and then see what else happened. He was going to call what he saw. And it's a great thing to see when you have a good ref that's calling the good stuff for you. And I'm not going to say every ref out there is a great ref. But every ref is doing their best out there. At least be nice to them and make sure that they want to come back to another game. And we did get another email from the athletic director a couple days ago that said, great job. I've noticed a significant decrease in aggressiveness towards refs. And we love it. We love to have that. Yeah. So yeah, I believe that's all we have for this week on the Spartan Spectator podcast, right? Or the LCAT Radio. Thank you guys all for joining. If you'd like to come back on for next week, please email me at spartanspectator@gmail.com. I will definitely be in communication with everyone. I would like to thank Mr. Mackey for having this set up for us so we can do this today. And thank you all. See you all next week.
Bye.